Happy Tuesday to you, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I've got a viewer question. It's kind of a unique question, so I'm glad I got it. But it really is an old topic that I haven't discussed on Facebook Live and really with anyone else in a long time. But this viewer lives out in Wyoming, wide open spread out there. And for about the last year, she's been noticing a pack of 5 dogs. She says they seem to be the same 5 dogs roaming around the area, and other neighbors have reported the same thing. But recently, another dog, a 6th dog, a stranger dog, has tried to join the pack but keeps getting run off by them. They won't allow the dog to join the pack. And so she's a little puzzled by the whole thing because, she's heard me say dogs are hypersocial, like wolves are really hypersocial. So she's wondering, why won't they allow this other dog in their group? I mean, heck, if they allow 5, why won't they allow 6? And even to add to it and make things even more puzzling is the fact that she fosters dogs. She has 4 dogs of her own. They're the resident dogs. And she's constantly bringing other dogs in the household. And her foster plus her regular dogs have swelled up. Her little pack in her house has swollen to sizes of 12 to 14 dogs on occasion. A lot of dogs in the household. And yet she says, my 4 dogs, accept them, no problem. But yet these 5 dogs running wild don't. So what's the deal? She's kind of curious about it. Okay, so yeah, here's what's happening here. Be glad to answer that question for you because we're probably all just a little curious when it comes to this. All right, what's happening is what's called, remember game theory? I went over game theory a long time ago in my 365. And game theory showed us that it is it is to their benefit to any time they're trying to either defend or acquire a resource. It is to the animal's benefit to use the hawk strategy, meaning attack. 6 out of 10 encounters versus the dove strategy, display or flee. So there you go. So game theory predicts a lot of things in animal behavior. Same thing with human behavior, especially in financial markets with consumers. And game theory also helps us predict what are optimum group sizes. Yeah, it's called the Nash Equilibrium. The Nash Equilibrium. So what is that? It's a concept within game theory that says that an individual can receive no incremental benefit from changing actions, assuming that the other players in the game don't change actions either. So Nash Equilibrium is this little optimum point when so many factors are taken into account when you have hunters hunting together and solitary animals who are forming up little groups. It takes into account how much food is out there, what's available, and are there other predatory groups out there that have taken advantage of the Nash Equilibrium? Is it going to be harder to defend this food? Would it increase our odds of finding food if there are more of us? So in this concept here, I kind of drew up a little model for you so you kind of get a good idea of what I'm talking about here. So let me try and hold this thing up in a way that you guys can see it for sure. Okay, I got 2 lines here. The vertical line is payoff. And the horizontal line is what we call group size. Let me see if I can hold it just a little bit better there. Try and do this sometime, by the way. This is takes a little bit of talent here. So, okay, let's get going here. Okay, so I have one solitary hunter. Maybe it's a coyote. Maybe it's a killer whale. Maybe it's just one wolf. Yeah, wolves are packs and they're family units, but the Nash Equilibrium applies to them as well because that's why we have dispersal. That's why we have dispersing wolves, because at some point there's just too darn many mouths to feed. Too many of them sitting at the dinner table. So in this model here, this is the payoff. So one animal, one hunter, so let's call it one stray dog. So one time this little group of 5 party started off with what we call just one solitary dog. And this is their payoff. This little dotted line, that's the payoff. That's it for that one dog. That's as much as you're going to get. You only have 2 eyeballs, 2 ears, 1 nose, and 4 legs, and that's going to be it for you. And even if you find food, how well can you defend it from a group of other dogs? So therefore, the dotted line represents that. But now all of a sudden, another dog comes along, and dog number 2. Payoff increases, because now there's 2 of us. Now we have a total of 4 eyes. We have 4 ears. We have 2 noses, 8 legs. We can cover more territory. We're going to have more of a benefit. And then a 3rd dog comes along. Yeah, let's let you join the man. Look at that payoff up there, baby. Look at that thing. Look at it, man. That's a great payoff up there. So yeah, 3 dogs optimum. That is optimum for a given environment, typically in which dogs are strays. You know, there's only so many dumpsters out there. There's only so many trash cans. There's only so much dead animals that you can scavenge off of. Yeah, there's only so much out there in that little Wyoming area there. So, and all of a sudden now, here comes a fourth dog. So the fourth dog wants to join the group. Now you probably had the other three going, really? Seriously, you want to join our group? Okay, you can join our group. And they do. And guess what? It still pays off. You're still above the dotted line. If you're by yourself, this is all you would get right here. That's all you would get, just right there. So then all of a sudden, here comes the fifth one. Same thing. Okay, we're going to let you in. Because again, now look at all the eyes you have. Now look at indirect reciprocity at its best right here. We got a bunch of eyes, bunch of ears, bunch of noses, bunch of legs. We can travel a whole lot. We can defend a whole lot of resources. Should we come across a big old garbage heap there, we can keep everybody else off of it. We can have it all to ourselves. So even though the food supply is having now be shared with 5 animals, we are still above the dotted line. We're still above what it'd be for one individual. But notice what happens when number 6 joins in here. Now it's over. It's over. So this number 5 right here, where it's just above that line, that little dotted line, is called a Nash Equilibrium. And that's what's going on here with this situation. Obviously, these animals have figured it out. Nature gave them the ability to figure that out. They're thinking, you know, we're doing quite well on 5. 5's great. We're not going to allow anyone else to be included in our business here. No way. So that being said, what's happening now with inside the house? What's happening in her inner pack? Okay, I don't know about you, but we own now 4 dogs, counting our new puppy. But let's just count the puppy. Go back to just 3 adult dogs. Whenever there's a possible intruder on our territory at our home, it's always Captain that races to the door. I mean, he looks impressive at that door. You definitely would think twice before you entered into my home. Good old Captain. He got a lot of people bluffing. His display works like a champ. But he's at that door just going rah, rah, rah. Well, the 2 Morkies, what are they doing? They're sitting over there on the sofa. Yeah, they're barking. They're pitching an ever-loving fit. I call Poe the mouth of the South. But she's not advancing to the door. She's not. She's doing what we call exploitation of the investment of companions. Yeah, she's exploiting Captain's investment. Whenever there are a group of hunters together, whether they be lions, whether they be wolves, whether they be killer whales, it doesn't matter. If someone tries to join the group and they don't want that someone to join the group, someone has to go out there and confront that someone. Again, you're hungry, things get desperate. So who's going to go do that? Who's going to defend the garbage heap? The food? Who's going to run off that new person, that new animal that wants to join your group? Who's going to go do that? Okay, is everyone going to go do that? No. You're always going to have 1 or 2 individuals that go out and do that while the other ones exploit that. They don't risk anything. They don't do a darn thing. They just sit back and watch the show and make you risk everything. You go run that darn thing off. I'm going to stay over here where it's pretty safe. And that's called exploitation again of the investment of companions. And this happens. Now here's the deal. So the bounty gets bigger. So you're kind of like at this optimum payoff. I've got 3 dogs, so I'm just going to call it optimum payoff. And again, forget all the trappings of the human world. We're dealing with instinct here. We're dealing with basic fundamental behaviors put in by nature. And if I sit there and after I explain all this to you, I want you to turn around and think how this happens with humans as well. Okay? Think about it. Think about your little cliques out there. Think about your little groups that are all inclusive. Think about them. You know, exclusivity, all this sort of stuff that you can't join my group. Yeah, too many in my group. I don't want all these people in my group because that means that I don't get all the stuff that I used to get because I got to share it with you. Yeah, we're only going to share so much. That's it. We're just only going to share so much. So the Nash Equilibrium applies to us, and the exploitation of the investment of companions also is something that we do. So this should just ring a bell with you. But here's what's happening in her household. See, out there in the wild, hey, if there's only one of me, there's 3 of us. Okay, and I'm the only one doing all the running off around here. I'm telling you what, I could use a little bit of help because this is a big garbage heap and there's a whole bunch of dogs over there. Their group is a lot bigger than our group, so I could use a little bit of help. So that's when they'll recruit. That's when they'll allow their numbers to swell. and they can do it. Any type of resource has to be economically defensible. It always has to be. So the bigger that garbage heap gets, that bigger that dumpster alleyway becomes, where there's 12 dumpsters down that alleyway, just giving off food all the time, because you got like 12 restaurants down through there. Yeah, that's worth keeping. But boy, it's going to take a whole lot to keep all of that. So they will actually allow other members to join their group, so that now all of a sudden you have six members of this group. Two. Now there's two of us defending this darn thing, not just one. So that's what happens whenever the group feels, especially the one individual feels, okay, I'm doing all the risk here, I'm doing all the work, you guys just kicking back here, taking it easy while I'm having to do everything. They will allow other members to join the group as long as they can afford to. If they're not, they're going to move on. They're going to move away from that big old garbage heap, because it's not economically defensible. And so when it comes to foster dogs, that's what happens. A lot of them will allow their members to grow, because now all of a sudden, again, strength in numbers. Right? I'm emboldened by numbers. It's the mobbing effect. We'll allow more to grow simply because it's less risk for the entire pack if we do so. Less risk involved. Okay, so that's what you got going on there. It's called the Nash Equilibrium. Keep an eye on that, because when you start owning more than one dog, you kind of need to think about that. Again, there's this acceptance period. Am I reaching that point? Do my dogs feel at any given point that we are beyond the optimum equilibrium level? And also, do I have more dogs? I got 6 dogs and 5 of them taking advantage of one? Yeah, that's going to cause some problems there. Definitely cause some problems with inner pack, but it really won't cause that much of a problem when you want to join something into the pack. Unless, again, they're scroungers. You only got one producer. So there you go. So I just thought I'd share that to kind of give you a little scratch there, scratch that itch when you want to understand something that's going on like that. But that's what's happening. Welcome to it. Now your job, your assignment is to go see. Think about your own life. Think about it. And draw me up a little example of the Nash Equilibrium, and also your exploitation of the investment of companions. Own up to it, baby. Because it's out there, and that's what's happening to dogs. And that's why those 5 stray dogs will not allow number 6. And it's also why your foster dogs will allow other dogs to come into the household. You obviously have an imbalance between producers and scroungers. And that's creating the need to have a couple more producers underneath the roof to help me defend this darn place can't keep doing it by myself. That's what's happening. All right, guys, I'll tune in with you tomorrow. Maybe, just maybe, we'll scratch another itch. Hey, there's something curious out there. We got to figure it out. Okay, guys. Have a great day.